All right. And we are live. We're getting started here in a couple minutes for episode 2 of season 2 of the Best Boys Center Ice podcast, where we have a lot to talk about today with this NHL season. We'll get going here in a couple minutes. We're just going to wait for some people to join here. I'm going to go ahead and
join us.
Let's see. I'm sharing it on my Facebook here.
So this is our new studio. We're still tweaking it a little bit to make sure we can get but this is where we're going to be. This is the new penalty box.
And like I said last week, I'm going to be working on a graphic for our screen. Right now we have our original idea. Dad made that one when we started the show last year, but I'm going to, sorry, you can probably hear me on the other mic too, because Dad has his volume up on his cell phone, sir.
Okay, not anymore.
But this is our original graphic, but I'm going to make us one that we'll use for this year. Try to incorporate some stuff from both of our teams' logos maybe on it. But obviously the ice stuff in the background.
This was the original, but we decided to come into this studio this year.
The lighting's so much better today.
Yeah.
I love it. It looks good. We're in our new home for the season.
Yeah.
And our first full season together doing the show. Obviously, we have about 45 minutes here since I bowl at 7. So we'll go ahead and get going here.
Yeah, let's get going.
Obviously, we had mentioned last week, or we had started like doing our predictions for this year, additions, subtractions from our teams, and just what to look forward to in the league.
Now, before we get started, we have to start with shout outs to the I Am Refocus Radio Network.
Thank you.
Shemaya Reed's great network that also includes our good buddy Rudy Campos Jr. and Sweep the League. I Am Refocused Radio Network or I Am Refocused Radio Online. You'll be able to get our podcasts there. And we're also on another podcast venue that I can't think of the name right now, but it's one, and I'll put it in the link afterwards. But you can catch us there. You can catch us Facebook Live here. Carson, my page on Facebook. Our YouTube channel is where you'll be able to see the video from tonight. And also our TikTok pages. We'll do our individual teams wrap up of each game. But that's I want to give a shout out to I Am Refocus Radio Network. Great network, a lot of great content on there. So check that out. Either I Am Refocus Radio Network or I Am Refocus Radio Online. All right.
Thank you all very much as well for your support on our show. It helps us get some exposure and at least get ourselves out there on a bigger network. Started with a dream and it's kind of escalated more and more. So we appreciate all the support and shares that y'all have given us. Now we finished those shout outs, and thank you, Dad. I'll begin doing those as well next week. I forgot about those, so thank you for that. So like I said last week, now that we're back in business here, we discussed the season starting up this week, the additions, subtractions, and all that. Well, now we're here on October the 8th. It's Tuesday, October the 8th, and the NHL season has officially begun. Last weekend, it began with the global series between the Sabres and the Devils in Prague, which the Devils took both those games to start the regular season. But in North America, the NHL has officially begun now as the Seattle Kraken and St. Louis Blues drop the puck at 3:30 this afternoon. A very early game, but a triple header for ESPN hockey night tonight. You have St. Louis and Seattle, and then here in probably about an hour or so, you'll have the Bruins and the Panthers, with the Panthers raising up their Stanley Cup banner. And then finally, to close out the night, you have the Chicago Blackhawks facing the new franchise, Utah Hockey Club, for their first franchise game tonight. It's going to be a very interesting matchup, very interesting game to watch. But, the NHL is back in full swing. We are now in for the best 6 months, 6 to 8 months of the year, with the hockey being back. Obviously, all sports in general are back. You got the MLB postseason right now, NHL starting up, NBA's in preseason right now, NFL's in full swing as well. So it's a great time to be a sports fan in general. But for us, we're Hockey Central. This is our favorite time of the year. It's like our Christmas day.
Yes.
NHL is back, and it's here to stay.
Yes. And history made in Seattle tonight or this afternoon. First female coach behind the bench and in an NHL regular season game. And that's huge for the league. I think it's a great move forward. I remember in when the Spurs had Becky Hammond on the floor as a coach. That was big. I think it's about time. I think there's a lot of great women hockey players who have played in the past who can definitely help out an NHL team, and Seattle is the first team to do it. And also in history, again, like you said, tonight Utah will have, and they're having their home game.
That's gonna be an awesome game.
It's going to be a great game. This season is going to be something special, and we always say that, but I've got a feeling with everything going on, it's going to be an awesome season. So we're going to kind of preview both the Penguins and the Oilers as they start both tomorrow night. We'll take a look at what we think. Of course, again, we'll kind of recap what we think about our teams, where they're going to go. I want to take a look at who we think the division top three will be as the way too early predictions come out. We'll also take a look at who we think maybe will be a dark horse player that may come out in the Art Ross race or maybe in the Hart Trophy race. And we'll, of course, it's way, way, way early to think about the Stanley Cup playoffs, but you have to start somewhere. And if
it starts tonight, so
it starts tonight with the 3 games where, like you mentioned, we had the 2 global games between New Jersey and Buffalo in Prague. But I'm excited. I've been waiting for this for a few months. And Carson's been waiting to see the Penguins in a regular season game for a while. So I'll start.
Sure.
Basically, the Oilers have got last year, as we all know, they didn't start out very well at all. They started out 2-9-1, losing their first 2 games to Vancouver. The first one badly. So this year they start out at home.
It was 8-1, by the way. That game was 8-1.
Yeah, we know it was 8. I know it was 8-1. They start the season at home for 4 games. They've got the Winnipeg Jets coming in for the home opener tomorrow night. And then after that, they will take on Chicago this Sunday. So an early one for Connor Bedard, and hopefully I'm looking for a really big season from him after being injured with the broken jaw last year. He'll be up there, and then it's the first Battle of Alberta
already
on let's see. Saturday is Chicago. Sunday is the first Battle of Alberta, and it's in Edmonton. And then Tuesday, the Oilers will host Philly before going on the road. They go to Nashville. That's going to be a tough team to play this year on Thursday, the 17th. And then the game that we're going to up I-35 in Dallas, the Stars and the Oilers, on Saturday, the 19th. Kind of ironic, your Pittsburgh Penguins aren't leading something for a change. They're no longer the oldest team in the NHL. You know who the oldest team in the NHL is? The Edmonton Oilers.
Thank you all for taking that crown.
Just a bit over 30 years of age. The youngest team in NHL are the Buffalo Sabres at just a little under 26 years of age. But you think of the Oilers as thinking, well, you still got a young Draisaitl, you still got a young McDavid, but they've picked up a lot of older
veteran players. We'll say veteran because they're still very good players.
They're still very good players. I think, and I'm going to go over my division predictions here a little later. I think the Oilers, of course, will run for the Pacific. Do they necessarily need the Pacific Division to be successful? I don't think so.
No.
But also, I want to. That's the opening night lineup. We already talked about. I want to go over kind of like what they predicted to be
the lines
for the Oilers going into opening night.
You didn't make your own. You cheated.
No, I cheated. All right, I cheated. You got it in your head. I don't have that capability, son. I do not have that capability. So we know the first line is going to be pretty much from last year.
Janmark, right?
Janmark's going to be on all 4 lines.
Hey, I'll take it.
Connor McDavid centering Ryan Nugent-Hopkins and Zach Hyman. So Hyman's going to get a lot of goals on that line.
40. I think 40. He'll probably be a bit lower.
Now, the second line is the one that I'm looking forward to watching the most. It's going to be Leon Draisaitl, and Victor Arvidsson, and Jeff Skinner.
Oh, yeah.
That could be a deadly line. Money. Like if I'm hoping.
I think that'll be the most consistent line out of all 3.
I think so. I'm hoping that people say, "Oh, the McDavid line. Oh, now we got the Draisaitl line," because the Draisaitl line always was in and out with wingers.
It'll be just back back-to-back.
Yeah, it'll be
back-to-back offensive juggernaut lines.
And they still could put McDavid and Draisaitl together and put Nuge on that other line.
That's gonna be fun. Shoot.
The third line is another good one. Adam Henrique with Matthias Janmark and Connor Brown. I think Brownie might take from what he did in the playoffs and maybe get himself a 20-goal season. Maybe.
That's a lot to ask.
That's a lot to ask, but I'm shooting high right now.
Considering it took him 60 games to get this.
The veteran Derek Ryan with another veteran Corey Perry and
Vasily Podkolzin, yes.
Vasily Podkolzin. See, that's why he's here. He's my pronunciation guy. So that's going to be the forward line. They've also got the power play unit, and I think I've got it here.
Cheater.
Yep.
Can I try to guess it? Your first unit?
Yeah, let's see. Yeah.
Ready?
Yeah.
You got power play.
Power play.
You got obviously McDavid, Draisaitl, Hyman, Nuge, Bouchard.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
And then your second one is probably going to be Skinner, Arvidsson, Ekholm. And then you probably have you got 3 out of
number 19.
Henrique, and then
Nursey boy.
Now
on the penalty
Never
kill.
mind.
Penalty kill. You want to try that one?
Penalty kill. Okay, Janmark, Brownie, Ekholm. And then is it another forward or defense?
Defense.
That's going to be Boosh, right?
Nope. Kulak.
Okay. Well, that's close. That's not even my team, and I almost got it all right.
Yeah. And the second penalty unit would be Henrique and Brown with Nurse and Stetcher.
Okay.
All right. Now the defensive pairings.
You're going to have
the first.
You're going to have Ekholm and Boosh. And then second pairing, you'll probably have Nursey Boy and Stetcher will be together, right?
Emberson.
Nursey Boy and Emberson, and then Kulak and Stetcher.
Yep. Goaltending, of course, we know already.
Stu and Pick.
And out right now.
Your Edmonton Oilers guru.
Evander Kane is out for now, but
that's still a loaded lineup. Y'all are going to be even better than last year. That's scary.
Yeah,
that's very scary.
But as long as they don't get into their heads,
no.
I'll say it again this year, like I said last year, the only team that can beat the Edmonton Oilers are the Edmonton Oilers.
Yep.
So we'll see this first.
I'm excited.
First 2-3 weeks of the season, we'll see everybody kind of gel together. They didn't have the greatest preseason, but that's preseason. I'd rather have a bad preseason and kick off the regular season.
Who cares about preseason? It doesn't matter. It doesn't count any of the
it doesn't matter. Nope. It's just basically training camp and getting in shape and whatnot. So I think we'll do our division predictions after you do. And talk about the Penguins, and then we'll talk a little bit about the league as a whole.
Sure. So moving on to my team here. The Penguins, obviously, like I mentioned last week, have had a rough couple of years here. Haven't made the playoffs in 2 seasons. Expectations are very low for this team. All the projections have them finishing pretty low in the league, pretty low in the division, 6th place in the division, 22nd, 23rd place in the league. And that's exactly where I feel like we're fine being. This team has something to improve, and they went out this offseason and got younger with some of the guys we got. Again, with what we had, we did the best we could, and I think we did a really good job. This team is going to surprise a lot of people. I really feel like if they could stay healthy, that'll be their golden ticket, and I really feel like they have a good shot to shock the world, shock the hockey world, and make the playoffs. And, I think maybe being a bit lower in the standing prediction gives them no pressure to play amazing. I mean, they nearly squeaked in the playoffs last year, playing pretty bad for most of the year, and then the last month come on fire and about make it. But I'm excited for this season. I think it's the most excited for a season I've been probably since the Cup years, because the team as a whole just looks a lot more deep. Seems like the scoring is going to be spread around the lineup, which I feel like will add up to a lot more goals, because you get those first 2 lines quite a bit of scoring last year. If you can get lines 3 and 4 involved, this team's going to be averaging, instead of maybe 2.5 goals, 3 goals a game last year, it'll be up in the 4s, I think. I'm really excited to see how this team can do as a whole. The lineups have changed quite a bit. Over half the roster is pretty much different at this point. And that's, that's just the name of the game. We did get younger, so we're not the oldest team anymore. I believe we should be below 30 right now for our average age, which is really what we need, some youth. But like what Dad did, I'll go over line combinations that are expected. We have a couple injuries right now. Brian Russ is out. He's on IR, but he's set to come back at any point, but he's not going to be playing tomorrow. He's on injured reserve, and then Nedeljkovic is out week to week as well with an injury he sustained during preseason. And then Blake Lazat, one of our acquisitions, got diagnosed with a concussion from a puck he took to the head one of the preseason games, so he'll probably be out for a week-to-week basis, I imagine. So tomorrow, the anticipated combinations, which again could change, and I kind of want one little tweak to be made in there, but we'll see. It's looking like the top line is going to be Drew O'Connor on the left wing, Sid on the right middle, or Sid in the center, and then Anthony Baviglia in the right wing. With them, I'm excited to see that line, but there's one tweak I want to see made to it, and I'll go over that here in a minute. Second line is going to be the same as it was at the end of the year. That Dynamo second line of Bunting on the left, or Michael Bunting on the left side, Gino on the middle, and then Raquel on the right side. That was the best line of the last month of the year. Once Bunting came to town, and I anticipate that line to be really good this year. They all look to be having an extra pep in their step this year. Third line is going to be, which actually turned out to be the steal of preseason for us at this point. That third line was fire the whole way. They scored so many goals, and we're just they look like a first line, but obviously, I mean, that'll probably change when the season comes, regular season starts. But you have that line of the rookie Rucker McGroarty on the left. He's going to be playing in his first game tomorrow. I'm excited to see how he does. He'll be up with the team for a while, so it'll be cool because when I go to see them play live in the cities in Canada, I'll be able to get to see him play. And he's been playing really well. But it's him and then one of my favorite guys, Lars Eller, in the center, and then Puljujärvi on the right wing. They looked really good this preseason. Puljujärvi looked really fast. Like, he got faster. It looked like he's more confident. He scored a lot. He scored a hat trick. He had a 2-goal game in there, a lot of assists. So this line looks like it's going to be pretty solid. And I'm really excited too for our fourth line. Looks like it's going to be a tough fourth line, but a scoring fourth line. It's going to be Nola Chari in the center slot with Cody Glass on the wing. And then Valtteri Puustinen, I believe, is going to be the odd man out, but it looks like he might be sliding in tomorrow to play on that fourth line. But I believe it'll be Kevin Hayes that'll be there tomorrow, which I'm fine with that. That team, top to bottom, looks way better than it has in forever for the forwards. You go to the defense, your first pair would be the same it was last year. So Marcus Pettersson on the left, Carlson on the right side. Second pair, the new guy, Matt Grzelcyk on the left side with Chris Letang on the right. And then third pair, which I'm not a fan of this guy, but Ryan Graves will be playing tomorrow on the left side with the young gun, Jack St. Ivany, on the right, a guy who we gave an opportunity at the end of last season, and he stepped in and came in huge and looks like he's going to be a staple for this team for the rest of the year. And then goaltending right now, with Ned out, you have Jari starting tomorrow, and then Joel Blomqvist will be here as backup, but Ned will be taking that spot once he gets back. One guy that was really close to making the team, but isn't just quite ready yet, or didn't get chosen at least to make the roster, is Harrison Brunick, a young guy that we got in the Gensel trade, one of the draft picks we got in the Gensel trade, and he's 18. And he played in the preseason and looked phenomenal. Honestly, was that close to probably getting a tryout, like a short-term tryout with the team. But overall, the team thought it was best to send him down back to juniors to play this season and get some more development in, which I think was the right move. He's definitely going to be on this roster in no time. There's no doubt about that. But he has to play at least his full junior season before he's eligible to come back. So depending when that's over, the Penguins could grab him up at the end of the year to play with the big club. But I think they did the right thing sending him back. He's so young, has a lot to learn. And that's a lot of pressure to put on a young kid that's 18 years old. He gets to go back and play juniors with his friends and just kind of live more like a kid and be able to still light him up there. Overall, you know what, this team I think has a lot of improvements they need to make. Obviously, the power play is number one, has to be improved the most. They've got the capability for it. It's looked good in the preseason. They scored a lot of them. About almost every game they had one, which is a good sign. They look like to be funneling it in front of the net. The only change I really would want to see tomorrow in this lineup, but I mean, you never know, it could happen during the game, is I would like Raquel to be on that first line. He has a bit of more of a shot first mentality this preseason. He looks more confident in his stride, ready to shoot at all times. I think you want him with Sid, but again, it's a long game. You never know how that first line is going to look. Truthfully, these lines haven't all played together yet. The only one that really has is the second line for a little bit, but the combination's been all scattered just because they're trying to get everybody in that was on the training camp roster to play some preseason hockey. So really, these guys haven't fully played a game till tomorrow. They practice line rushes and stuff, but it's going to be interesting. I think this team is poised for a big year. No pressure on their backs. No problem. They're going to be a dark horse. I think definitely in the East to make a playoff run. I've already said last week, I don't think they have a big shot to win the cup, but they have a shot to make the playoffs. And once you get there, it's who knows what happens. You can't predict it. So it's going to be a long season, definitely a fun one. I haven't looked forward to a season this much in a while. It's been 6 months since the Penguins have played a hockey game, so I'm just ready to watch them tomorrow. I'm probably going to put my phone up at work or maybe even take some PTO time so I don't miss the game because I've been ready for it for months, and now it's finally back. Even the preseason games were amazing to watch, just even that, even though some of those guys aren't going to be playing with the big club, just to watch hockey in general. But yeah, we're going to have a fun season nonetheless. It's going to be competitive, going to be a rough ride for sure, going to be ups and downs, but I'm excited to see the improvements and see where all these new guys are going to fit in on the team.
Yeah, and I kind of like you were talking about Jesse Puljujärvi, of course, who was an Edmonton Oiler for his first 3 seasons and didn't really pan out here. But I think I'm hoping that he gets up to the potential that has been trying to live up to since he got into the NHL, because he's a big, tall guy. He's
a good forechecker.
He's a good forechecker. I'm hoping that he can really turn that third line and keep the third line pretty consistent.
The big thing I've noticed from him compared to, when I've watched him before, he looks genuinely like happy. He's known obviously for his goofy faces he makes during the games and stuff, but he actually looks happy. He looks confident. He has the puck. He doesn't bobble it. He made a really great move against Columbus in our preseason finale the other day on a breakaway, and he almost did a little toe drag to deke the goalie out and scored. And I mean, he looked confident doing that. Like he had no doubts in his mind that he could do this. He got acquired middle of the year last year and kind of got shuffled in and out of the lineup. Yeah. I truthfully believe he's going to be a mainstay on this team. I hope he is. Overall, this team just looks a lot more whole. I think the scoring will be spread around, and I'm excited to see this team just score a lot. I think is what I'm hoping for, is they can just score, because they did not score.
You think you'll be top 5 scoring maybe, or close to top 5?
I would take 10. Top 10, I'd be happy. I mean, last year they were just like 2 point whatever goals per game. I mean, my kind of hockey game is a high scoring game. So the way they played the games last year, I wasn't very thrilled. I want them just to score a bunch. And you know what? If that means they win some games, a lot of games 6-5 this year, that's an improvement, because last year we would lose a lot of games 2-1. I'd rather have the opposite problem where, okay, we can work on the goaltending, but the scoring needs to happen to win in this league. Yeah. Absolutely. So I'm just excited. I'm hoping tomorrow's game against the Rangers will be just a goal fest. To be honest, I anticipate it to be. But those are the outlooks for our teams. We're both very positive. Obviously, our teams are on opposite ends of the spectrum right now, but we both have high hopes. Our teams have gotten better in the offseason. I don't think there's any doubting that. And now it's just going to be a day-by-day process of seeing where these teams go this season. Yeah. But now with that recap kind of done, and before I guess we go to the next part, I'll just preview what we're doing this week for our games. We play 4 games this week. A lot of games to start off the year. We play tomorrow at home against the Rangers, and then we actually go to Detroit the next night on Thursday to play back-to-back. And then we head north of the border for the first time this year to play the Toronto Maple Leafs on Hockey Night in Canada on Saturday night. And then Monday night, stay north of the border, and we head to Montreal to play the Canadiens on Monday night. So a full slate of games for this team this week, but can't ask for any more than lots of hockey to start off the season for a team that hasn't played in a while. So I'm excited for these games this week.
And then you get to the Western Canadian.
Oh, yeah, swing. The week after that.
After the Dallas game that Carson and I are going to, as we mentioned, he's going to go on the Western Canadian road trip not with the team, but he's going to be traveling he's going to go to Winnipeg, Calgary, Edmonton, and then Vancouver. And the great thing about that, not only seeing all those games in different cities, but you get to spend time with family too.
I'm excited.
And so basically in 7 days, Carson's going to be going to 5 games, 2 different countries, 1 state, and 3 different provinces.
5 different cities.
5 different cities in 1 week.
I'm so excited. I cannot wait.
And he will do some video. We'll try to connect on a Facebook Live while he's
I'm looking to get
out
by
there.
the glass like I did with the Edmonton game. If I get by the glass for some cool, neat pictures and videos, I've been very much looking forward to this. Never thought that's something I could have possibly drawn up to be able to do, but just with the way it worked out with my work, I'm able to get time off for that period of time and save some money so that way I could do this, and got everything in order. I've got great seats for the games. Obviously, I get to go visit family along the way and, go along the way and see some sights and things to see, because a lot of these places I've never been to. The only one technically I have been to, but not really, is Winnipeg. And other than that, I've never been to any of these cities. So I'm excited just to see the sights there are to see, take some cool pictures, see the scenery, enjoy the weather. The weather's going to be beautiful when I'm up there. So I'm just ready to get up there already. I'm chomping at the bit, but a few more days of work to go, and I'll be up in the air, wheels up. But first is our game in Dallas. I'm really looking forward to that. Our trips to Dallas are always fun. The drive home, I'll be wanting to get home as soon as possible so I can go to sleep and get up. But five hockey games. I mean, that's probably my dream trip right there, is at many hockey games, and basically a hockey game a day. I got 5 games in 7 days. Going to be lots of cool pictures and videos to come out of that, but still a few games left to be played before then and days to go by. Now that we're kind of over our team recaps here for our teams, we'll go forward here to our divisional predictions. I'll kind of start this one off here. I really don't feel like there's going to be too much change as far as the teams that make the playoff cut. To be honest, I think it's going to be pretty much the same. There's going to be some dark horses that'll make a run, but won't make it in, I don't think. I think starting with the Pacific Division, I feel like that y'all will win the division, and then right behind you, I feel like we'll be Vancouver again, and third, probably LA. Or Vegas, depending on, it's going to be one of those 2 teams that makes it. I think Vegas will be a wild card team, but I think those will be the 3 teams that make it out of their Central or the Pacific. I don't really think that's going to change all too much. When you go to the Central, I think that you've got, I think Dallas will take number 1 in that division this year. They're defensively, I'm a bit confused by their defensive moves this year, but they re-signed the 2 biggest guys in their decor they needed that weren't signed. Which was Thomas Harley and Essa Lindell. So I think they're going to be fine. Their forward depth is amazing. They have a great team. Otter's one of the best goalies in the league. But right behind them as well, you got the Avs, I think, number 2 in that division. Solid team for how many years they've been so good, and they're going to continue to be that good. And then rounding out the next spot here in the Central Division, I have a bit, not of a dark horse, but a bit of a change. I think Nashville will be that 3rd team. I really don't think they're going to be better than Colorado or Dallas, but they're definitely good enough to make the playoffs. So it's not a doubt in my mind. And then from there, I think the next wild card team that'll round out the West will come from the Central Division. And that, for me, dark horse right here, the Utah Hockey Club.
Oh, really? Utah?
You know what?
Wow.
They remind me of Vegas when Vegas started up. Cinderella run to the Cup final. I don't think Utah's going to do that. But I really think that team is going to make the playoffs and give that town something to cheer about with that hockey team. I anticipate that. But, again, you never know. Chicago's another team that could make a run. And then you move to the East, starting with the Atlantic Division. The reigning champs will take that division crown, I think. The Panthers will win that division pretty easily. I think they still have a pretty good team. Lost some guys, but still that championship hangover, I don't think will exist in Sunrise, Florida for that team. And then following them, I think the Bolts will be back a little bit. They had a rougher year last year. I think they're going to be back up where they're normally found and get themselves there in a 2nd place spot. Then followed by the Boston Bruins, team that you just never feel like that goes away. They re-signed Swayman, which was a big thing they needed to get done. They got it done. That team still is solid. Lines 1 through 4, they're a really good team. And a tough team to beat, to be honest. And then the wild card out of that, I think, will be Toronto. I think they're going to regress a little bit in the regular season. They're going to Toronto their way in the playoffs. I'm not a hater. I'm just being honest. That team is not built to win a championship. They have all their cap wasted on 4 guys and not the other how many that need to be playing. And that doesn't add up to any success. But they'll make the playoffs still. A squeak in a wild card. They're that good of a team to make it for sure in the regular season. Then you go to the last division here, the Metro. I think the Rangers will win that division again. Just a team that's just loaded. I think really good. They've got a great defensive core. They've got a great forward group. The only kind of concern is now with Igor Shesterkin. He's rejected a contract they offered him earlier today. I anticipate it's just the same thing as Swayman stuff. That'll all kind of resolve itself, and he'll be a Ranger. But nonetheless, he'll be in the pipes for them for sure this year. Behind them, the Canes. The other team, you just can't go away. And that it's not a bad thing. It's just they're that good of a team that they're just pesky, and they never are really that bad. They're going to be in there. And then I think that third spot is going to be a bit of a tie-up between either the Devils or the Pens. Not even being a homer, just the Penguins are going to get there. You know what? Those guys are pissed off that they haven't made the playoffs in 2 years. The guys that want to win championships haven't won a championship in now 7 years. They want to win a cup. They're going to want to make the playoffs. They don't want to get to the end and their playoff fate be uncertain. They're going to push to get in the playoffs, and they're going to be that third team in the Metro Division. And then followed up by the final wild card spot in the East will go to New Jersey, I think. They got a lot better this offseason. A lot better. Markstrom's an awesome goalie, but I still just feel like that team up and down will have some inconsistencies, but as well, again, more than good enough to make it in the playoffs. They struggled last year, didn't make it. They have a tall hill to climb, but I think they're going to do it and get in. That's my predictions for this year. Fun NHL season in general. It's going to be an awesome year.
It's going to be a great year. So mine are pretty close to what yours are. I have a couple of different maybe seeding changes. Well, I'm going to start the other way. I'm going to go to the Metro first. I've got Carolina winning that division this year. I think, like you said, Carolina's been so good for so long. I don't know if they will make it to the Cup final. They have probably the best shot of taking on Florida in the East.
They'd have the best chance, I think, of beating them.
Yeah. And then I got the Rangers in second in the division. That's going to be close. That's going to be up and down between Carolina. I outright have the Penguins as the third seed in that division. I just think, like Carson said, they've got the guys on the team that remember lifting the cup, and they want to try to get something done. And they were so close last year, down to the last game or two. And I think if they know that if they would have played better a month or two earlier, they would have been easily into the playoffs. One of the wild cards, I think I'm going to go with the Devils too, as the wild card coming out of the Metro. The Atlantic, pretty much what you said, except for I'm going to give Toronto a little bit of a due for the first. The Maple Leafs will go second, but it's going to be close between them and Tampa.
Yeah. Okay.
But Toronto will be Toronto. Yeah. And they will go out.
Might as well just be a first round bye for whoever they play.
Yeah. And I want to say out of the Atlantic, but Boston will be the wild card. Now it could be close between Boston and Tampa for that, but I think
Tampa though is just going to be
a little bit better. When we move out west, Dallas, I'm totally in agreement. Dallas is the team that
they're probably, besides you guys, probably the best on paper team in the league.
And you know, when you got a guy like Otter who could look like, we've seen him time and time again.
How many times does he make those unbelievable saves?
Like, and
we sit behind the goal for all of them.
We sit behind, we sit behind and we watch him make all those saves all the time. And you can't, as a fan of the other team, you can't not like Jake Ottinger. I love Stu Skinner. He's my guy. He's my goaltender. But Otter is my favorite goaltender.
He's an awesome person.
Colorado, I've got them second. That's going to be a fight between them and Dallas. And I got Nashville too. Yeah. Coming up third. The wild card there, I'm going to go with Chicago.
All right. I love it.
I'm going to go with Chicago. I just have a feeling a full year of Bedard, I think they can get into maybe it'll be the second wild card spot.
It'll be an exciting team to watch. Yeah. That is nothing to be, I kind of screwed up. I feel like now on my predictions here.
Why?
I forgot one.
Well, which one?
The Atlantic.
Who did you forget?
Who do I want to drop off though? I feel like instead of Toronto, again, this can be bold takes, folks. Calm down if you don't like it.
Okay.
Detroit's going to take it from Toronto.
Do you think Detroit can? Detroit can take it? So Toronto ain't even going to make it.
Nope.
They're going to lose. They're going to lose in the last two games. It's going to be the last two games of the season.
Detroit was such an interesting team last year at the end, and they were exciting, and they nearly made it.
Right.
They were one goal away because of a stupid empty netter by the Washington Capitals at the end of the year that kicked them out. You know what? It's bold takes. You never know what's going to happen. It's not concrete.
All right. So there you go. He's made a change.
Double down.
We'll have to see. And then in the Pacific, as much as I don't really think the Oilers need to win the Pacific, they will win the Pacific.
Homer.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I am Homer. Yeah. If my last name's not Simpson, though. I got Vancouver hitting the second spot, and then I have Vegas in third, but it's going to be close between Vegas and Los Angeles. The Kings will one of those two will be the wild card. Now, when I don't know, do we go deeper into the playoffs? I don't know. I guess we can look at Western Conference, Eastern Conference finals.
You want me to go first?
Yeah.
Okay. Western final. I have a repeat of last year's. The Dallas Stars and the Edmonton Oilers again. However, I think this one would require 7 games this year.
Yeah.
Dallas doesn't want to lose to Oilers again. They want to make the final. They've been close how many times, and they just didn't get it. In the East, Eastern Conference Finals. I really want to be biased, but I don't think I can. I'll take Florida making it to the Eastern Final again out of the Atlantic Division. And from the Metro, I think you got the Rangers. Okay. So basically a carbon copy matchup of last year, but that's what I think right now. Okay. However, if there's one team besides the Florida Panthers, I think out of the ones that we named that can beat the Rangers, I think it's going to be the Penguins that can beat them.
So do you think the Penguins get them in the first round?
If they get them in the first round, they'll have a great shot.
A better shot than anybody?
Yes, at beating them. Because I think the way the Rangers play, they play the same way the Penguins do, where up and down hockey. The Penguins like playing that game. They want to be able to get more chances, more rush chances, more shots on net, not as defensively structured maybe, where there's a lot more scoring. I think that favors the Penguins' top lines because they know how to wear you down.
Yeah.
I think definitely last year, I mean, that's why last year I was praying that the Penguins would get that wild card because I knew they'd have to play the Rangers. And I'd rather them play the Rangers than the Canes. It wouldn't have been close if they would have played the Canes. But I still think that it's going to be the same in the conference finals. But depending what the matchups look like when the playoff brackets start, this could be way different. I mean, I'd like the Penguins to win a series, but I realistically think those same teams will make it. They're just so good still. Goalies are all the same. Teams have gotten a bit better. The only one's maybe gotten worse is Florida, but even then, they're still a championship team. They still have a championship coach behind the bench, and that's what makes the biggest difference.
I have to kind of almost mirror what you said. Edmonton and Dallas in the Western Conference Final. I think I don't care. I don't think it matters who has the home ice in that one. So I feel like you guys would get home for that one. I think y'all be a better regular season. But like you said, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. We'll be there for one of them anyways. If that happens again.
Oh, for sure.
And in the East, I'm going to go. I can't go against Florida because they're the defending champions. They would be there 3 times in a row. But I don't think they're going to win the Eastern Conference. I think Carolina is going to win the Eastern Conference.
Wow.
I got
Roger
just a feeling that it could be.
They're tired of losing too. They've been good for a few years and they haven't gotten far.
So if you look at what I'm thinking for the Stanley Cup final, Edmonton and Carolina would be a repeat of the 2006 Stanley Cup final. Again, this is way too early.
We're about 6 months. Well, 8 months early for the
things. But this is what people do. This is what I don't normally like to predict my team being the Stanley Cup winner or in the Stanley Cup final. But
I'll go ahead and give mine then, since you don't want to. The Stanley Cup champion this year is going to be the northernmost team in the National Hockey League.
I like that.
Edmonton Oilers. You know what? They've gotten way better. They were already a good team last year, and they've gotten better.
And I think that
Stu's going to be more confident.
Bitterness of losing in Game 7. You looked at recent stuff online about the locker room in Edmonton. McDavid just, that he's not going to lose. And when Connor McDavid gets in that mindset, look out. He proved, he got lambasted for not going out and getting the Conn Smythe. But he was in the locker room with his team at a very hard time. He was the captain. He was the leader. He didn't go out and accept the trophy. He was a leader in the locker room after that Game 7.
Yeah.
So I think the Oilers will win the Stanley Cup.
Yep.
And then it's just going to be a fun ride no matter what.
Yeah.
Getting there.
We can say for the how many straight years we said it since McDavid came in the league, or y'all got better, maybe like 7 years. Our dream Stanley Cup final would be Edmonton
and Pittsburgh.
Hey,
and you just never know. The Penguins go on a roll when they get to the end of the season and into the playoffs. Don't tell me that there hasn't been an 8th seed or a 7th seed or a 6th seed.
Florida was the 8th seed.
Yeah, they were the 8th seed
when they lost to Vegas. They were the 8th seed.
So don't tell me that an 8th seed can't get and win.
And if there's
the Stanley Cup,
one of the many teams or a few teams that you don't think you can doubt with the guys they have. Is
if you look at dark horses from the East,
Pittsburgh.
If you look at a dark horse, I think
Chicago, and Nashville.
Nashville and Chicago could do some damage to some teams who aren't expecting it.
Even from the East, really, New Jersey's probably considered it because they were so bad last year.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's certain teams that just aren't going to really move. I think one team too that could make a run is Seattle for sure. But okay, the Islanders, no. It's just going to be a fun ride no matter what. No matter which team you cheer for, hockey's back. It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
Playoffs are a ways away. You just enjoy the regular season. Yeah. Watch as many games as possible,
and we're going to be here every week.
Tuesdays
on Tuesdays. We're going to take a look at the week that was for the Penguins and the Oilers.
4-0 week for us and a 3-0 week or 4-0 week for you guys.
Yeah, it'd be nice to start the season like that instead of like the way they started last year.
That was the only point we were better than last year.
And we're going to be here. Of course, we're going to do when you go to our TikTok pages, you will do post games from our teams.
Tomorrow, I think they'll both be.
Yes. Tomorrow. So I think the Oilers played at 9, so it's going to be
late one for you.
A late one. Yours is going to. What time is yours?
6:30.
6:30. So we'll do that, and of course we're all season long. We're going to be on the I Am Refocus Radio Network, IamRefocusRadio.com or the IamRefocusRadioNetwork.com on the web. I want you to check out Sweep the League with Rudy. Rudy talks everything else 100%. Like the dude knows exactly everything about basketball, football. And I guess he knows a little bit about baseball. I'll have to teach him a little bit about baseball. But the hockey, he says he's starting to learn from us about the hockey part. So we got the hockey part. Rudy's got the rest of sports. So check him out. Sweep the League here on Facebook and also on the I Am Refocus Radio Network. Thanks a lot to Shemaya Reed from I Am Refocus Radio, Rudy, and everybody. We want to hear from you too. Like, don't hesitate during the week.
Ask anything.
To send messages to both Carson and I on our Facebook Messenger about what you think, your team, where you think your team's going to land, and what you think about the start of the NHL season. That's anytime you want. You can also join us every Tuesday night, right around 5:45 Central Time. And when Carson's on the road, we're going to try to hook up. It may be different times.
We'll get some stuff going.
But we'll get some stuff going, and we'll let you know what's going on. I'm excited for you to go to on the Western Canadian road trip. You've already got your aunts and your uncles looking forward to you coming. Yeah. So we're gonna. This is 2024-2025 season. It's finally here. First games are going to be in the books tonight. The Penguins and Oilers hit the ice tomorrow. It's just the most wonderful time of the year. This is going to wrap things up for tonight. Again, check us out on the I Am Refocus Radio Network, also on our YouTube channel, Facebook Live. And as we always say, and we always end the show, everybody, have a great hockey night.